Hello and welcome back to the chair yoga series that I'm developing while we've got time on our hands because we can't go out to class. The poses that we're doing today all form part of this sequence called Salute to the Sun. When I first encountered Salute to the Sun, Surya Namaskar, it was back at the Satchinanda Ashram in Swan Street, Newcastle. I think it was back in the 80s, it might have been early 90s, I can't quite remember. But it's something that I've encountered over the years in various different forms and different traditions. And at the moment, I use it virtually every day. Some of the mornings when I just don't know where I'm going to start with my yoga practice, inevitably always starts with a few rounds of the Salute to the Sun, to bring me into a zone where I can either choose to go further with more different poses or perhaps finish with the salute and go into my meditation. So once you've learned it and remembered it, it's a great all-round holistic sequence because it covers nearly every part of the body. So you can rest assured that you've done your stretching and strengthening for the day without having to think too hard about it. But it does take a while to get there. So today is just focusing on the various poses that go into the salute, and there'll be more than just those poses. So let's get ourselves started by focusing on your position. So note, I'll be changing the position of the screen later because I want you to see my hands as we start the practice. So those feet pressed down to the floor, use supports or props to bring the floor up if your feet don't make contact. And I want you to be a little bit further forward in the chair. So you've got space. I've got about that much space behind me. Not too far, so I can reach back if I need to with various poses. Feet pressed down, lifting up through the chair. Feel the back of the legs in contact with the chair. Let the hands rest wherever is comfortable. Feel the spine nice and tall. The head continues through, so we've got that beautiful alignment of the spine and the neck and the head. The shoulders relax, the arms relax, and just be aware of the hands where they rest. And now bring the hands into prayer position. As you bring the hands into prayer position, it doesn't matter whether they're spread out wide or close together, but we want those thumbs to be pressing against the sternum. And what I want you to do is press those hands together and bring the hands slowly up towards the chin. Keep everything together. And then as you exhale, take the hands down. And you stop when you feel those palms start to fall apart. And that's the spot. So we're just getting a stretch. Inhale, bring the hands up nice and slowly. Exhale, take it back down. So as soon as you feel them start to separate, that's your stopping point. Lift back up. Bring yourself back down. Now next time on the prayer, we're going to take our arms up into the air as high as you can. Now for people with shoulder issues, it may only be to here. So I'll ask you to take your hands out to the side with the palms forward. Take the elbows back so the shoulders retract and the chest can stick out. You've got a slight back bend and maybe you can look up if the neck's comfortable. And bring the hands back to prayer. Now, if the shoulders are okay, then we can go further. But if your shoulders aren't well today, stay in that position. So you'll be coming out to here. But if your shoulders feel okay, on the inhale, we're going to take the arms up into the air. And as we take the arms up into the air, we're going to separate those hands. Starting out with just a nice stretch. So that stretch, you can feel as if you're reaching up through the fingertips and you feel it in the arms. Or maybe you're stretching through here and you can feel it down the side. Maybe you can feel it down here. So there's different places you can focus on the stretch. But as you stretch up, notice how I've lost my neck. What I want to do is stretch up, but still keep that space here. On the exhale, bring the hands back down to prayer. So, if the shoulders are sore, we can get the focus. We go out to the side, we take the shoulders back, but we can just leave the arms out to the side and still lift up through the sides of the chest and get the stretch. So, we're looking at the stretch, we're looking at the back bend. So we'll take the back bend into the full pose now. So on the inhale, you'll take the arms up into the air, separate the hands so we get the stretch, and then we slowly start to look up towards the hands. We take the shoulders back as far as comfortable, the chest sticks out, and we come back into that little back bend. And exhale, back down to the prayer. One more version, which is ever is comfortable for you. Either hands straight up into the air or out to the side. Get the stretch. Go into your back bend. Exhale, bring the hands back to the prayer. Rest back down onto the floor. Onto the knees, I should say. On the next exhale, slowly take your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Inhale here, and on the next exhale, bring the chin forward so it goes across the front of the body, and your left ear is going to go down towards your left shoulder. Inhale here, exhale, take it back. Inhale here, exhale, pendulum roll across to the other side. On the next exhale, we come down. Bring the head back up. Okay, so the next pose that we're looking at is a forward bend. So with the forward bend, we've got to watch. If we go too far forward, the head actually goes lower than the heart, which is what we call an inversion. Inversions are contraindicated for people who have issues with high blood pressure. People who have glaucoma should not take their head below their heart. It's too much pressure in the eyes. Any of these issues that concern you, you need to check with your doctor whether or not it's okay to do some of the poses. But we'll be looking at different modifications. Now, the first modification with this forward bend is not to take the head down too low. So what we'll be looking at doing is just stretching the arms out a little bit so they come down over the knees. And as you exhale, you'll take the chin towards the chest and you'll round the shoulders. To get into this further arch, we're going to bend the elbows a little bit and just see if we can lean forward. And then on the inhale, we'll lift ourselves back up. So we'll do that one once again. So we lean ourselves forward as the elbows come down. This time as you lift back up, bring the hands back either up into the air, out to the side for that back bend, whichever works, and then come back to the prayer. For a further fold, on the inhale, we'll take the arms up or up. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward. So we bring the arms down. They can rest on the knees as you fold over. They can come down towards the shins. Or if you're flexible, they can come down to the floor. On the inhale, we slowly lift back up. Bring the hands up into the air, either straight into the air or into those goalpost arms that we had. And we try that one again. So we come forward and down. Lift up. Let's try the arms differently. Take the arms out to the side. Maybe you're to goalposts. Maybe you're in the air. Exhale. Take the arms out to the side and fold forward again. Keep working with the breath. Now, the beauty of the Surya Namaskar when we actually go into the sequence is that you can use your imagination and work with it. So take the arms up, wherever works. Let yourself come forward. lift up, and let's bring the hands back down onto the knees. So there's lots of different variations that you can work with depending on the range of movement and pain that's in your body. Those forward bends, for example, when I go all the way, this little thing here, depending on what you define as little, sometimes gets in the road. And it might be easier to actually take the legs a little bit further out so I can actually get down there without feeling like I'm going to have a massive indigestion attack. So there's lots of variations that you need to consider for your body. The equestrian pose, the full version, we take the tiptoe up on the right knee. So on the right foot, I should say. We wrap our hands around the knee. We're going to lift up the knee and bring it in as close as we can. As we breathe out, we try to bring the elbow, the chin, the forehead, or maybe just a little kiss to the knee. Inhale, we take the knee forward, straighten the elbows, look up. Exhale, bring that knee in once again. And release back down. Still working with the right side, we're going to do a modification here because it's quite difficult for some people to actually grab underneath there. So it's okay if you can to grab underneath there and not lift up as high. If that's too difficult, then it's okay to go onto tiptoes. And bear with me. Tiptoe, hands on knee, lean forward slightly. Same effect. So tiptoe, maybe hands can rest underneath to give that extra little bit of support as you lean forward. We lift up, straighten the arms. We lean forward. The equestrian pose. So now let's work to the other side. So depending on your range of movement, either hands on that left knee as you come onto tiptoe and lean yourself forward. Alternately, hands around the knee as we lift the knee up. Inhale here with the arms straight. Exhale, we bring it all together. Blow the kiss to the knee. No physical contact. And rest down. Now, it's always nice between poses to come back to your base position. So we just check into the chair that we're sitting up. A little bit of work with the core to keep yourself upright. Hands resting on the lap once again. The mountain pose. Now, mountain pose is different in different traditions. The word means different things. In Satyananda, mountain pose, Pavatasana, is the same as your downward dog in other places. There's slight differences to it, but essentially, downward dog, when you think about it, it is the shape of a mountain in that inverted pyramid. So to do the mountain pose on the chair, we come a little bit further forward in the chair. We use support onto the chair to start, and we just take both of the legs forward. Now I'm going to move back again, just so you can get that picture of how it works. So the legs are forward. I've just made it. Now I've got my legs on the floor at the moment. I'm sitting up. Make sure that I feel stable. Because you're closer to the edge of the chair, you want to make sure that you're not going to fall off. Once you are sure, if it's okay, hands onto the knees and just lean forward a little bit. This could be enough. If you're okay in this position, we take the arms out in front and lean forward just a little bit more. And the final part of the pose, if you're okay with it, would be to take the arms up and you slightly lean forward a little bit and you come into what would be the downward dog position, what I call, and in this tradition, is the mountain, and that's what we're referring to in future. And then we come back. So, to give you a picture on the side, checking that we've got that there. My legs are in front. I lean forward. The arms go out, maybe up, and I try to correct it to bring it into that downward dog shape. So let's explore with our mountain pose. So fairly close to the front of the chair, so you're able to get those legs out in front. Stretch both of the legs out. Sit up nice and tall. If the balance is good, hold, rest the hands on the knees. Lean forward just a little bit. Extend the arms out in front. Maybe a little bit further. Can the arms go up? Now they're in line with the torso. The palms then face forward, the lean forward. Bring yourself back up, bring the hands down, come back. So as I talk my way through this, if you're holding in the pose, work with your normal breath. So we're going to try and hold that a little bit. Really good strength for core. Really good for building strength in the shoulders. We've got to hold them up there. So the thing is, there's different options for everybody in this position. And you only go to the range that's comfortable for you. So just one more time with that. We extend the legs out. We lift up. We lean forward a little bit. We bring the arms out. We take the arms up. I turn the palms forward as if they're pressing on the floor, and I reach forward. Now I can go as far forward as I want, but I want to try to keep my spine straight. And you just breathe in the pose. You can feel things start to work as you hold the pose and breathe. Lift up, take the arms down, and then bring the legs back in. Surya Namaskarasana, the 8-point pose. It's called 8 points because when done on the floor, the 2 toes, the 2 knees, the 2 hands, and the chest and the chin are all that's in contact with the floor. And if you've seen pictures of the pose before, that means your bum's nice and high in the air. What we're doing is trying to mimic that. And what we do is we bring these legs in as close as we can. So the heels are almost underneath the chair. We bring the hands in close to the body so the elbows are in nice and tight. And what we're trying to do is bring the chest forward and the hands come back a little bit. So we're trying to have the chest and the hands almost in line with each other. And then we just stick our chin out and forward a little bit. And we have this stretch. Now I'm visualizing that those 8 points are all in one line, as if we had a piece of glass in front of us. My chin, my chest, my hands, my knees, and my toes. And once again, what I'm going to do is do that pose on the side, and you can see the difference between a visualization and reality. It's not quite the same as if everything was on the floor. This is where the beauty of chair pose comes in, because this is a hard pose to hold as you try to bring everything into alignment. There's nothing to support us. When you're on the floor gives you the support. We've got to work very hard in the chair to get to that. So the 8 points. The modifications. We've been in chair. If the arms aren't working too well, we've got the hands down. We bring the feet in nice and close. We take the hands to here, and that's it. There's no reaching forward. There's no taking the elbows back. We just stay in this position. Upright. The core's working while I'm holding it here. The shoulders might feel a little bit tired, and you might feel that there's a little bit of tightness in the top of the legs because we've brought those legs in underneath. And of course, if you wanted to try for further, we lean forward, take the elbows back a little bit more, and maybe the feet could go a little bit further under the chair, and you start to feel big stretches, holding it with the breath. Okay, let's lift back up. Rest the hands down. The cobra pose done in the chair. we reach back and grab the back corners of the chair so we've got a really good grip. I grab it strongly. I start to pull my shoulders back. My chest is sticking out. I slowly start to look up. And you only go to the point where it's comfortable for you. Range of movement, you're in charge of where you go. Once you get to here, let's not get lazy. One of the things I find is this part tends to want to relax all the time. So you want to imagine that it's long from the pubic bone through to the belly, through up to the base of the rib cage, and then through to the sternum. So the whole front of the body becomes long, which means we've pulled the belly in a little bit as we work with that practice. And for a little bit of fun, if you wanted to be more than just a basic cobra, you could be a striking cobra. So on the inhale, you look up, and on the exhale, stick the tongue out as far as you can for a big sigh. And release. Rest back here on the chair. They're basically all the poses that we need to do to cover our salute to the sun. And just those poses on their own have created quite a nice all-round workout. So we're going to end our class here today at this point. So we'll just ask you to close the eyes down or take the gaze down once again. Focus on your position in the chair. So if you wanted to get comfortable, you could take yourself back in the chair a little bit to have that support from the back of the chair. If everything was starting to feel tired, but we still want to sit up. So focus on the feet. Focus on the hands on the knees or the top of the thighs, the back of the legs in contact with the chair, the buttocks, the tall upright pose, the relaxed shoulders, the whole body rests here in the chair, and just start to watch that natural breath once again, and just let yourself reflect back on how you're feeling after some of those poses. A short breath practice to finish the class. I want you to imagine that on your next inhale that you breathe in through the soles of the feet, and you breathe in all the way up through the body and out through the crown of the head. On the exhale, starting from the crown of the head as we work down the body, it comes down the head, maybe the shoulders and into the arms, out through the fingers, down through the torso, the legs, and out through the soles of the feet. Perhaps you can visualize energy moving through the body. On the inhale, you can feel the energy coming in through with your breath, through the feet as it comes up and energizes the whole body. On the exhale, letting the whole body soften. And just focus on these breaths for 5 more rounds of breath. After your next exhale, let go of that practice if you're still working there. Come back to the natural breath. Be aware of just how you feel at this very moment, checking in. Bringing the hands to prayer back in front of the chest once again as we finish our class together. Hari Om Tat Sat.